Law number 15, the law of victory. The law of victory says that leaders find a way for the team to win. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to find a way for the team to win. And I have a little paragraph underneath that I want to read that'll kind of launch us off into this law. Here's what it says. Victorious leaders find the alternative to winning unacceptable. So they find out what needs to be done to achieve victory, and then they go after it with everything at their disposal. Let's talk about it. I love sports, and I think probably the greatest basketball player to ever play the game, of course, is Michael Jordan. But for several years, I've admired his skills as a basketball player. But what I really admire about Michael Jordan, more than his skill level and more than his ability, what I really admire about him is his intensity and focus to win championships. I mean, he is truly, in the classic sense, what you call a winner. I mean, Michael has all the ability in the world, but I've known a lot of people who have great gifts and great abilities that didn't win championships. But his desire to bring the Chicago Bulls home to another world championship is just huge. And this year when they were playing Utah, and they were in the 6th game out at Utah, and the score was tied with 1 minute to play, and Chicago had the ball, I told my son Joel, who was watching the game with me, I said, Joel Porter, I said, watch this. I said, I'll guarantee you, there's only 1 minute away, and if they win today, they win the championship. I said, I promise you, Michael can smell this. And I they showed a picture of him in the huddle, and you knew what he was telling him. He was saying, get me the ball, get me the ball, get me the ball. And sure enough, in that last minute, what did he do? He scored 6 points and they won the championship. He literally willed it to happen. Did he have ability? Absolutely. But that isn't what really causes me to greatly admire him. What causes me to greatly admire him is his desire and his intensity to win. Larry Bird was like that when he played basketball. I loved to watch Larry Bird. And one time there was only about 3 seconds left and Boston Celtics had the ball. And so they had their huddle. And when they came to the huddle, Larry Bird looked at the rest of those players and said, look, get me the ball and get out of the way. In other words, Larry Bird says, let me have that ball and then just get out of my way. And the coach, Casey Jones, had to be the coach at that time. The coach said, no, wait a minute. He said, Larry, he said, you don't tell the players what to do. He said, I'm the coach. So Casey Jones looked at the players and said, now listen to me. Get Larry the ball and get out of the way. Now, what do these guys have in common? What they have in common is they're leaders, and leaders have a passion for victory. It's the law of victory. I promise you, you show me a great leader, and I will show you someone who really wants to win. And if you'll study leadership like I love to study leadership, I read the lives of leaders, and I just love the subject. If you study the great leaders, one of the things you'll find is, in almost any country, the leaders that are the most respected and the most esteemed are the leaders that were in leadership positions during very difficult times in their country, and they brought their country to victory. Classic example, United States, the most beloved president, I think, of all the presidents, Abraham Lincoln, who took a country divided and with his leadership made sure that he could bring it back together. And out of that crisis, really exhibited incredible leadership. If you think of England, greatest prime minister they ever had, Winston Churchill, who during the war said, we are never, never, never going to give up. I mean, who just instilled courage into the heart of his people. Why? Because Winston Churchill was not going to take defeat. In fact, I have in your, I'm not reading all of the stuff in your notes, but there's that one section where I love this one part of his speech, of Winston Churchill. And he said, what is our aim? He said, I answer in one word, victory. Victory at all cost. Victory in spite of terror, victory however long and hard the road may be, for without victory there is no survival. What's Winston saying? Winston's saying, I'm a leader and I'm going to make sure that my team wins. And let me just stop here for a moment. Don't you love to follow a leader that's going to bring you to victory? In fact, I want to say something. If you're trying to recruit people on your team, the greatest way to recruit people on your team is to start winning some. Because people want to be on a winning team. I mean, people aren't clamoring saying, man, the guy's lost. He's always in the bottom of this division. I'd love to be on his team. It's more than the guy has lost. You've lost your mind. We want to be on a team that's going to bring us to victory. When I was a kid growing up, I always played ball with kids that are older than me. My brother, who's 2 years and 3 months older than himself, was a grade ahead, so he played with kids about a year older than him, and so I played with kids about 3 years older than me, and I was the smallest kid, and I loved to play ball, any kind of ball, and my brother was a very good ball player, and I loved it because I was the youngest kid. I was always the last kid chosen, and yeah, because I was always hanging around with the older kids, and I loved it when my brother would choose me, and man, when he'd choose me, I thought, oh, good. You know why? Because I knew that I had a great chance of winning. Now I just want to say, if you know you have a great chance of winning, you'll put more energy into it. You'll enjoy it more. Isn't that true, huh? If you know you're going to lose, you go, well, I don't know if I really want to make that commitment. But boy, when you know you're going to win. In fact, Joe Namath said it right. He said, when you win, nothing hurts. I can turn that around. When you lose, everything hurts. Oh, you're so good, aren't you? Huh? You're just so good. I just got a feeling you could take over any time. You know what I mean? Well, I think I'll just go take a break and somebody come up here and have at it these notes. Wouldn't that be fun, huh? Here comes Marty. He's already leaning forward. He's ready to go. That's a real leader. A little bit stupid, but there's a leader right there. No, Marty, you're my buddy. What does the law of victory look like? What does the law of victory look like? Because I have watched this characteristic in leaders, the characteristic, the ability to bring the team to victory, one day I decided I was going to try to spell this out. What does this law look like for a leader to possess? And I think I've done a decent job. Let me see if I can do this well for you. I think the leader that is going to bring his or her team to the law of victory, here's what they feel, here's what they think. Leadership is responsible. That's where it always starts. They say, okay, if I'm the leader, I'm responsible. Too many leaders, they want the credit for leadership, but they don't want the responsibility of leadership. It goes back to what I say many times. They want the perks, but don't want to pay the price. Okay? Leaders who bring their team to victory, they say, I'm responsible. I'm responsible. Number two, losing is unacceptable. You talk to a leader and they don't even consider losing. I mean, you say, well, you can't do it that way. Then they say, well, then let's find another way to do it. I mean, you watch a leader, they will not accept no. They will not accept it can't be done. They will not accept the fact that, well, others haven't made it, so neither can we. They will not accept that. Is totally unacceptable. When you tell them that, instead of that discouraging a leader, that's like putting kerosene on fire. When somebody tells me that, well, we can't help ourselves, it can't be done, they don't know what that does to me on the inside. I mean, it's like saying sick 'em to a beagle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I start frothing at the mouth. I can't handle that. I don't accept it.